In August of 1989, nearly 300 athletes from all over the United States came to Topeka, Kansas. Though they were not professional competitors, their enthusiasm was as great as any major leaguers. They didn't come for the glory or money, or even just to win. They came because of their desire to compete. Just 15 years ago, these athletes were locked out of the competition. Unable to participate in America's national pastime, they started their own game, a baseball game for the blind and visually impaired. They called it Beep Baseball. Now they come from all over the United States to play, and the competition is heating up. Like any great athletic event, the World Series of Beep Baseball began with a ceremony. The games were sponsored by the National Beep Baseball Association and the Sunflower chapter of the Telephone Pioneers of America. And these groups helped to welcome the athletes to Topeka's first World Series.
So whether you've come from far or near, the Pioneers are very glad you're here. We're honored to have each one of you as our guest, and we hope this World Series will be your very best. Thank you.
To fully understand how these athletes compete, you must understand the game of Beep Baseball. In some ways, it is similar to regular baseball. There are 3 outs to each side, and a strike is still a strike. Other aspects of the game are very different from regular baseball. The batter, pitcher, and catcher are on the same team, working together to get a hit. When the ball is hit, the batter runs for a base down the first or third baseline, whichever base is buzzing.
And if the tone is at your base, you grade the runner, that is, you call the runner when he hits the base, or if it's at the other base, you call the ball and the catch. You call it when it's caught.
If the batter reaches the base, a run is scored. If the fielders find the ball and raise it in the air before the runner gets to base, it's an out.
I can imagine how hard that is. You know, looking for a ball on your hands and knees, trying to listen to where it is.
Pitching and hitting is a matter of a rhythm between the batter and the pitcher. The batter gets a nice consistent swing where he swings in the same spot every time, and the pitcher's job is to put the ball on the bat. The pitcher says ready, ball, and delivers the ball. Then it's a matter of the batter swinging at the right time and connecting with the ball.
The head umpire sits behind the base and makes all the major calls. Yeah, I had a couple of real tough calls. It's not easy. Sometimes you have to rely on the base umpire to help you out.
A Beep baseball team has 6 players. On offense, they also have a sighted pitcher and catcher. And on defense, they have 2 sighted spotters. The spotters are sighted volunteers that call out a number when the ball is hit, so that the fielders will know generally where the ball has been hit to. Of the 6 players on each team, 2 of them may be sighted, and all players must wear blindfolds during play. The history of Beep baseball can be traced back 25 years to Colorado Springs telephone pioneer Charlie Fairbanks, who invented the beeping ball as an aid to blind children. Another telephone pioneer, Ralph Rock, was the first to use the beeping ball in a modified game of baseball. The modern-day Beep baseball rules were developed by John Ross and other blind athletes in 1975.
The World Series started in September of 1976, so this is, we've had one every year since then. And, we've had it all over the United States.
Of course, being active with the NBBA, I've seen many changes going through since Beep baseball originally started. And we're always trying to make it better, for the players and the volunteers and the game.
The players and the volunteers. These are the key elements of beep baseball. Just who are the volunteers that keep this game going? Some are individuals who just enjoy being involved in this special game. Some are members of organizations that pitched in to make the World Series a success. But it is one group that year in and year out gives its time and energy to support beep baseball. The telephone pioneers of America.
They certainly could not do anything without the volunteers. Look here, suppose if we didn't have volunteers, what would happen to this tournament? And the pioneers, I just can't say anything too good about them, because I know our pioneers and pioneers across the United States participate with beep ball.
It takes a lot of volunteers to be able to do a tournament the size of the World Series, particularly with 20 teams involved.
Volunteers were responsible for a variety of tasks at the World Series. They acted as base umpires, head umpires, scorekeepers, and base operators.
Foul ball, David, foul ball! Ready? Ball.
Pioneer volunteers worked in the series headquarters and made sure that everything went smoothly.
Oh, okay. Let me see what size you guys got here.
The pioneers also made available souvenirs and refreshments to those attending the World Series.
Just about anything you can imagine we've needed to use volunteers for, and we just could not do it without all the volunteer help.
Oh, at first I didn't know what to expect. And I thought, oh, there's so much to remember. I don't know if I'll remember it all. But after you go through an inning or so, you start relaxing and you look forward to getting in on the action. I think it's great. It's wonderful to see the folks get an opportunity to play. And I enjoy it. It's very rewarding to help out. It really is.
I might tell you, when I started beep ball in Arizona, I did the laundry for all 8 teams. At that time, there were fewer teams involved. And that's how I started out, doing the laundry at 3 o'clock in the morning and sorting it out for 8 teams.
Volunteers for a team is vitally important, because you can't play beep baseball without volunteers. You have to have sighted help to make the game go. And that is sometimes kind of hard to find dedicated volunteers, but when you find one and they become a dedicated volunteer, it's a joy to work with them, and it's hard to get rid of them. They get in your blood like we do, and they just hang around and keep coming back and playing and helping us and spending their time and money and energy with us. And it's really a beautiful relationship.
I mean, you can't play the game without them, and they're people who devote not only their time, but some of them devote their lives just to beep baseball. They kind of set their schedules, their vacation time, and make sure that they're available whenever we have the national tournament.
I think once a person has had an opportunity to participate in beep baseball and see what it's all about, it makes the commitment that much stronger.
The volunteers that support beep baseball are an inspiration to all those that strive to serve others. But those that play in the World Series are an inspiration to every individual who has ever had to overcome an obstacle.
I think when you come out here and see all these people playing each other, and then you go and see them at the hotel, and the camaraderie and the fellowship is just fantastic. It's heartwarming. You get real emotional when you see all of this going on. They're competing with each other out here, but they go back and they're the best of friends.
Well, every year it's kind of like a gathering of the clan when the World Series occurs, because the teams are scattered so far apart, and some teams don't even get to play, don't even see another beep ball team until the World Series time. So the World Series is kind of like a family reunion every year, and everybody gets together, and instead of playing softball and pitching horseshoes, we play beep ball and then party afterwards.
Met 3 different flights coming in and hauled them out here to start with. And there were people from New York, Texas, Oklahoma, and whatnot. it's surprising how, by sound of voice, one fellow got on the bus and said something about, "Hey, Joe, is that you back there?" And just by hearing his voice, he knew, and it was some fellow from New York, and this other guy was from Texas. I mean, but they'd been acquainted before in these games and knew each other, I mean, by sound.
Every year, I say that I'm going to retire from beep ball. However, I think I'll be around a long time because these players are a great inspiration to me.
True side, true side, true side, true side. Hey, 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 hey.
When all the games were over and the dust had settled on the 1989 World Series of Beep Baseball, Albuquerque True Sight had emerged with the victory for the 7th straight year. But they weren't the only champions, because every athlete had succeeded at what they came to Topeka to accomplish: compete in the sport that they loved.